So I want to talk a little bit about that show flow, about the comments and bringing in your live video, because Ian and I and Alisa have talked about this too, is that it should be all about your audience and all about your guest and not about you, about the show. And one of the things that I found that's kind of a hack is, and I think Ian and also Luria from Live Streaming Pros does this, is she'll present content, but then she'll break and have little sections where she'll interact with people. So it's not the, you see a lot of people when they first get started, they start going and they're like, oh, there's a comment, and they do that, and they're kind of ping ponging back and forth. And if you have places in your show where you have those times to bring up comments, that makes it flow a lot easier. You're not stressed as much as hitting every comment. And like with Ecamm now, it's really cool that I'm able to go in and highlight comments that I can go back to later, which makes it really, really easy for when we're doing questions. Yeah. And the other thing that we do on Social Media News Live, and we do here as well, is if we have questions that we were going to, I mentioned before, I have those 10 questions, or I have it broken down in the show flow, is if an audience member has a question that's similar to mine, I will bring that one up and skip mine. And that's going to take, that takes practice. Yes. But once you can do that, it's like, it seems like you're answering the audience question, but you already had that question before, but you get so much more points for bringing somebody else's question up on the screen. Yeah. It just makes a lot more sense. And so we do that a lot in the shows that I produce and that we do here even. So that's a little power tip, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. And I know we talked about how at first you might not have anybody coming and asking questions, and you might feel a little bit lonely, but there is nothing wrong with planting an audience member and giving them a question. Too, yeah. Oh, I think we all have, like, please show up, just ask this. You don't have to stay, but it makes it feel a lot more interesting and encourages other people to ask as well.
That's been done for centuries. If you like go theaters and operas and even like restaurants, they will plant people in to make it look busy and shout and scream and well, maybe not at the restaurant, but in the theater they will do that. And so why not get people to do that? But I do want to mention something else, which is really important, because it ultimately depends on your reason for going live. Now, I go live for a number of reasons. Yes, I want to build my community. I want to become more visible. I want to, all of those things are community, visibility, really important. But a massive thing for me is creating content. And as I've probably mentioned a few times on this show, I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a procrastinator. And so one of the things I love about live video is, yes, I need to plan, but once I press that go live button, I'm creating content, which I can then repurpose into a podcast, into a blog post, into all these other things. So if I have 0 people watching, it doesn't actually, well, it obviously it's a bit of a downer. I'd like people to be there. But if I don't have anyone there, it's still really good because I'm creating that content that I can repurpose for later. And so it ultimately depends on your reasons and your priorities for going live. It's not just about the live viewers. We can get overly obsessed by that number on the top left-hand corner. So my advice to you is, as much as possible, I know it's hard. I feel like I'm a complete hypocrite for saying this, but don't pay attention to it too much.